Hello again. So today I would like to do a better explanation on the slider as opposed to a creative aspect on it. So let me give you an example of what I have on my screen. The slider itself, I gave you an example prior to the prior video of what you can actually do with it as well. You can make it like a double screen. And I'll probably go into pop-up screens next. I'm undecided. So let's look into the slider itself and more into depth of it. If you look into mine here, this is what I use it for. If you look at here, these three here will slide upward or downward. This one for my project does not move. So if you look, do I have it? Oh, okay. So the three, it goes upward in other words. And then I could set it up to where it goes downward with the other button. And then with the slider itself, you can actually grab the slider and then it'll slide down or up. And so forth. There's nothing down here. Okay, so let's look into the slider and how to build it here. Let me log out of this one. Okay, so let's look into the slider. So if you look at the attribute itself, on the slider, it's just like the rest of them. You can set up or local or global, horizontal or vertical. Let's see. And you can set up your the background fill, just like the rest of them. Not much of a difference compared to the other things like the buttons and so forth. And set your background color, foreground color, background color, cursor color. The cursor is the black square on mine. You can set up the width of the cursor, the height. So if you want to make it thinner, you could. Value, mine's set at 100%. This height is at 100%. Down here is at 0. So it does work from bottom up. If you had it horizontal, it works from left to right. You can set up a minimum value, maximum value. And then this is the X and Y at the starting point of the corner, and then their width and height of the top left hand corner. This is the X and Y, and then the width and height. So it's pretty much the same compared to the other things like the buttons and switches and so forth. So let's look into the program of this. So I added two buttons to make it go up and down. Okay, I added two buttons. It's the same as the when we did the keypads. So for this one, the slider itself this one's H0. So we're looking at H0.value is equal to H0.value. For this, I had set it up to -10. Before it was by 25, but it didn't give me enough space where I needed more space. I went down to 10. 10, so 10 divided by 100, I get 10 clicks downward or upward. And then it refreshes each time. It refreshes. Every time you go downward, it refreshes. Every time you go upward, it refreshes. It refreshes the screen itself. These here, it changes it. I'll show you in a little bit here. This is the down one. The up one, to make it go upward, I had set it up to where H0.value is equal to H0.value plus 10. And then to refresh the screen. There's other ways of doing this. This is just an example. Yeah, I kind of didn't like it, the refreshing of the screen, but there's other ways of doing it. I mean, there's tons of ways of doing the programming stuff. It's just of how you want it done. And this, I wanted to do this pretty quick, so this is what I came up pretty quick. And when I did enter it into the screen itself, I didn't really like it when it did really refreshing. It looks too dirty, so I'm going to clean it up later on with a different type of programming in it. So just for now, this is just a tutorial on how to show you how this is done. So looking at the bar itself, you can either do a touch one. It's like the buttons themselves, they have the touches on it. But I have it as a touch move. So for the touch move here, let's look into that. For the touch move, let's see if you can actually see it. Okay. For the touch move, of course the highest one is at 100%. Oh, wait a minute, what did I do? Okay, for the touch move, it starts off at 100%. I have it set up for where it starts at 100%, where it's at its highest. So it's if the H0 dot value is equal to 100%, which it does. Then I have it as the second big block. This is the fourth. What you see on the screen here is a fourth big block. It's actually two blocks in one. This one's D1 and D2, to where it makes it look like this. And then when it scrolls upward, it'll take everything with it. So for B1, the living rooms, living room. It starts off at 100%. So the first one's living room. Or actually, the second block is living room. Third block is front porch, and the fourth block is back porch, as you see here on the screen. So now, if it's greater than 90, then it goes and it changes it. Then it's pretty much the same all the way across. If it's at 80, if it's greater than 70, if it's greater than 60. It's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. But do keep in mind as well, I didn't do it with this one. You can add a cool, you can make up a picture for the bar itself. Just like, it's pretty much like this concept, in other words. This concept here, you can actually make the cursor bigger if you wanted to. And then you could actually make the cursor look like this one. It's just a matter of adding the picture itself. And then for mine, I didn't add the arrows up and down, but I'll probably do that later. But I'm deciding if I'm gonna keep it. So pretty much it's that simple. The cursor itself is not that hard. The slider itself is not that hard. And then in my previous video, I gave you an interesting way of doing a transition. That's what transition from screen to screen. But I think I'll do a pop-up. You can do a pop-up screen. It is possible. It's really cool though, but a little bit complicated. But I'll probably show it in the next video. Let's see how this one goes, and we'll go from there. So I hope you find this interesting and useful for your programming. Please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and probably see you in the future. You have a good day.